Today we're going to be going over something that's very dear to my heart, and it is the wrist lock. A lot of guys call it a dirty move. Personal opinion on dirty moves, as long as it's not intending to break stuff, like you're trying to hurt or injure your training partners, then you're good. So go into it fast, but apply slowly, should be fine. I do it to people so they pay attention to it, so they know that they're coming. I saw this one it was a professional match. I want to say like 2014, Polaris or Metamoris or something. 2 black belts were going, and the announcers, it was standing, and the announcers were talking about how they're grip fighting, and I'm a white belt at the time, I think. Yeah, it was like 2-stripe white belt. I was like, oh, they're grip fighting, okay. Then all of a sudden, bam, one of the black belts got his wrist broken. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Then started learning more about wrist locks. It happens when they grab like this. So if CEO grabs my gi, I'm gonna reach over and grab his pinky. Let's do this side real quick. So I'm gonna reach over. If it's vertical, if his hand's vertical, I'm not gonna get it. I need to get his hand horizontal. So I'm gonna reach over and grab the outside of his palm and then pull it, and I'm pushing it into my chest, and I rotate it. Now I'm gonna reach for the elbow. I'm gonna turn the angle of my chest down, and then I'm gonna push and drive into my chest while I cup his elbows, and I push and I pull the elbow to me. So it's this motion once you have the elbow stacked. Wrist locks are like everything else. In order to get a joint, you need to control the joint above it. Okay, so we're here, pull, get my angle of my chest, grab the outside of his tricep, and then I reinforce it, and I go for the finish. Works standing up, works on knees. I mean, if you're starting on knees, right, and then you go and get a grip, it's fast. I love it. Don't break your partners. Wrist locks aren't that hard to avoid, but they have to see it coming. If they don't see it coming, that's when you get it. So if you start doing it, people start seeing it, and then you have to kind of evolve your jiu-jitsu. That's like everything, right? There's a move that's working, and then they learn the defenses because someone went to your professor, like, hey, so-and-so is getting me this move. What's the defense? They learn the defense. Now you have to learn new setups or go on to a different move. But wrist locks are fun. Disclaimer, in most tournaments, they're not allowed till blue belt, and kids can't do them in kids tournaments, but it's a good thing to have in your arsenal. One thing is sometimes they're way too effing strong. Maybe they got 100 pounds on you. Maybe they're a mechanic or a rock climber, and this just ain't happening, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I take the gi and I go around the outside, right over the crease of the wrist, and use that to help rotate the wrist and get it bent backwards. Then you go right into it. You hit it again, okay? So if their grip is too strong, their forearms are too strong, you can't rotate it, let the gi assist, okay? Now, this also works from guard, okay? So let's switch to guard. I love this, it is hilarious. So we're inside guard. He's got good posture. My wrist locks don't care about his posture. Tap, tap, tap. You're here, you rotate it, grab here, and I'm just doing a sit-up. So I'm doing a sit-up as I pull his elbow into me. Like that, and then you just keep pressure. Okay? It also works in no-gi. So if he just has his grips here, awesome. I don't even have to rotate his wrists at this point. I'm just gonna reach up, double grip his tricep. Never do this, guys. That takes too long. Just reinforce like this. Sorry. They're fun. Once they get good and they know that I like wrist locks, it's going to be a little harder. I have to go find almost like a new victim of my wrist locks, okay? But if you're against someone who's experienced and they know you like wrist locks, they're watching out for it. So I'm going to go for it, but I'm looking for the overreaction, okay? So I go here and he gets overreacts. And now I can go into my sweeps or into my kimuras or some other things. I had a very skilled guy put me into a cradle and I go for wrist lock. It was there, okay? When he was cradling me. I wasn't gonna finish it. The guy was way more skilled than me. He's been a black belt for as long as I've been training. But the point of the wrist lock was to release the grips. And by releasing the grips, I was able to escape the cradle. Yes, you do want the submission, but once you're against better guys, a lot of times you're doing the wrist locks just to get the reaction, right? It's like all of jiu-jitsu. You do things to try to get reactions, and it's just a game of chess and a game of sequences. If they're not aware of the wrist locks, yeah, you're gonna get it on them. Make sure you apply slowly. Don't just break your partner's wrists. But they're fun to have. And if they're a big dude, some dudes, their shoulders, their biceps, their knees, I'm not knee barring Seal. I mean, it's gonna be really hard to. I'd have to get everything perfect. Wrist, smaller joint, better chance of getting it against a big dude.
Yeah, I think the last time I got wrist locked by this guy is I bear hugged him. He turtled, and I bear hugged him, and then I screamed, "Tap!"
I will say this, most of the time there's not time to tap. Just teach people to say tap, because saying tap's way faster than like trying to get your spare wrist to tap when it should be defending, right? Messing up their grips or their control. So if someone wrist locks me, I'm just verbally tapping. It's way quicker than trying to use my spare hand. So anyways, that's wrist locks. That one's talking about the waiter one where it gets bent backwards. There's also gooseneck ones. There's lots of wrist locks. There's instructionals that are incredibly good on wrist locks as well. So anyways, have fun with it.